Hi everyone, Fraser here from the Most Dangerous Podcast. If you've been enjoying the show, don't forget to subscribe and leave us a review. It really helps us to reach more people like you who love the show. Also, you can follow us on Instagram at The Most Dangerous Pod and join the conversation on Facebook at The Most Dangerous Podcast. For those of you who want to go the extra mile, we're on Buy Me a Coffee. So if you'd like to support the show with a small donation, it would mean the world to us. And if you have any suggestions or feedback and want to get in touch, you can email us at jamesandfraserpod@gmail.com. Thanks for listening and enjoy the show.
All right, let's just get this draw done so I can drink more whiskey.
Hello, welcome back to the Most Dangerous Podcast. How are you this week, James?
Yeah, I'm all right. Fine.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
Yeah,
nothing.
I've had a whiskey actually.
You've had a whiskey. Yeah.
So I work for like quite a. Obviously, you know that I do sort of law and stuff.
Yeah.
I work for like quite an established sort of company who are linked to a supermarket. So, but every like payday, we get like an offer on the supermarket goods, and it's like 20% off.
Oh, right.
Like, everything. So I popped to the shop before, and I met my mate, and we got some single malt whiskey. And I've only had one actually, but it's absolutely blown my socks off.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's really nice stuff. Honestly,
whiskey?
I've just had it's like that one. It's backwards on your screen.
Yeah, I can't say I recognise it, to be honest.
Tamavulin.
Yeah, not one I
It's
recognise.
powerful stuff. I mean, I had it like an hour ago, and I'm a bit kind of like, oh.
Did you eyeball it?
No, we're quite civilized. We're kind of getting into our whiskey stuff, to be honest. Like, it's probably not a good hobby to get into, but
have you?
Yeah, so like we kind of like be going, oh yeah, well, this one's nice.
Yeah.
One, you know, we've been sitting down. Oh yeah, it tastes like that. And we've had this. Me and my mate, we sat down before, and we had like literally just a single serving, a single shot of this whiskey, and I'm slurring and all sorts. It's gone straight to my head.
See, whiskey, a lot of people think is quite a nasty drink, but a proper nice single malt good whiskey is lovely.
Oh yeah, it's not cheap stuff. You know, it's not bells or anything. It's like, you know, it's like 35 for. Well, it's on offer anyway. So it's like 40 quid's worth, but it was 35. Then I got a discount.
Yeah. So I love Glenmorangie. That's a really smooth, mellow, but strong whiskey.
Yeah. Well, last month, we did Glenfiddich.
Oh yeah.
But I think that's kind of like it's like a posh one, or sort of mid-range, I suppose. But I think it's the one that everyone goes to.
Yeah,
It's kind of mid-range, and it was okay. Like, it was nice, but I mean, this one really has kind of like, I'm all over the place. So anyway,
it's going to be a fun podcast tonight.
It was only a short one tonight, though, isn't it?
Yeah,
so that's good.
Have you watched the film The Angels Share?
No.
Right, that's what you need to watch after the podcast tonight.
I think I'll be tucking into that whiskey, to be honest. But anyway,
about whiskey.
Oh, is it? Oh, right, okay.
It's a film. It's 4 people that are basically doing community service in Glasgow. So basically tearaways, stealing, fighting, stuff like that. Community service. But one of them makes friends with a guy that runs the community service. The guy picks him up in a little van, takes him places and says, fucking paint that. And he's an English guy, but he's like obsessed with whiskey. So he starts, one of the lads he sort of takes a shine to and starts sort of saying to him, look, you know, try this whiskey, and he takes him to a whiskey meeting. But these other 3 sort of like tag along, invite themselves. And the story, to cut a long story short, is about there's a barrel of whiskey that's been found from like the 60s.
Right.
And it's going to go on auction for millions of, I think it's £1 million or something like that. And these 4 tearaways decide they're going to basically go and steal 3 bottles from this barrel from this distillery up in Scotland. It's a funny film. There's a lot about whiskey. You learn a lot about whiskey. Quite like a kind of like a heartwarming film as well. And it's a good watch. Yeah.
All right, I'll give that a watch.
I won't tell you anymore.
Slobbering all over my chops.
But yeah, Angel Share, watch that.
Right, I will. I'll give it a watch. Short episode tonight, isn't it?
Yes.
Because we're sort of in between seasons. We finished off our nature podcast which we did last week with the Bigfoot thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know what the ratings were like on that, but never mind.
They were slightly better than the week before when we did nothing. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
so that's a good sign then. So you lovely listeners, you get to witness and hear the draw of our next 4 podcasts, which we're going to do shortly after you've got some news or you want to talk about something.
I've got a couple of things. First thing that's just popped into my head, because I did it tonight. Have you got like a piece of cutlery or a bowl or anything in your kitchen that no one will use for some random reason?
We've got like the cat's dish,
right?
But the cat uses that, like, you know.
It was right. This is how long we've had it. 'Cause it's Teddy's birthday next Tuesday, and it was Teddy's birthday the same time last year as usual. And we were in a pub, and we asked him for a knife to cut the cake, and it was just like the normal knife you get with your dinner.
Okay.
And
not like a proper sort of cutty knife.
No, it was just like
a table knife.
Yeah, you couldn't cut a baby with it. And somehow we ended up with this knife in the box with the cake when we came home. So this knife's now in our drawer, but no one will use it because they go, "Oh, that's the knife from the pub." But it just lies in our drawer. It's been there for a year.
Just bin it.
And occasionally someone will forget and they'll be eating their dinner and you go, "Oh, that's the pub knife." And I don't want this. Then it gets washed and put back in the fucking drawer.
Just bin it. Yeah, I mean, we've got a few things like, so when my kids were younger, they had like Disney princess dishes. I mean, there's one specific bowl that the cat uses, but if that's due to be washed or whatever, we'll use like the princess ones because no one ever wants them anymore.
Yeah.
And then every now and then, like if the dishes need washing or whatever, the kids will just grab one of them. And yeah, it's the same thing. It's like, you've got the cat's dish.
We've got a plastic bowl that came from Kentucky Fried Chicken in France, and somehow it's ended up coming home.
And you've still got it.
And I was like, you're eating your cereal out of the chicken bowl.
Yeah. Do you know what I'd love to do? Just like gut the place, like my house, and just go and just be ruthless about it and go, I don't need that, I don't need that, I don't need that. But also have everyone on board in the house as well. So they just go, right, I'm going to be ruthless. Like, you don't need that, get rid of it, just so we're down to the bare bones of everything.
Broken cup from Disney on Ice that's at the back of the cupboard.
Bin it, get rid of it. That plastic cup that you got from watching The Grinch in 2012, just get rid of it. And just like have like a complete clear out and just be down to the bare bones where you've literally got like 2 pairs of jeans, a pair of trousers, 3 t-shirts, and just start again.
That sounds like my wardrobe. I've had the same 2 pairs of jeans for 4 years now.
I'd love that though. Just have a clear out, just clear everything.
Get it to
fuck. Like when my partner did the washing the other day, it's been building up, and we hate doing housework around here. And we eventually got to the bottom of the wash basket, and then I went upstairs, and there was a big pile of jumpers just on the side. I was like, "What are those?" He's like, "Oh, got nowhere to put them." I'm like, okay, right, so you need to get rid of some clothes then.
Yeah.
But no, I don't want to get rid of any clothes. They're all mine, It's like, well, clearly you do because you don't wear any of these. So yeah, that's my dream.
I did that. I had a quiet weekend and washed everything and dried everything. Then realised we actually had more clothes than we had wardrobe space. It's just half of it's usually in the washing basket at some stage or waiting to be put away or ironed. Anyway.
Just doing the cycle. Very interesting stuff. Right, go.
Yeah, so we're running away with it. That wasn't even part of the rant I was wanting to...
Oh, is it not?
No.
Okay.
my rant's different to that. So, James, we said last week, should we do some dangerous news? And neither of us have bothered. But there was a story that came up on Facebook that I read, and I thought, wow, this is incredible. And then, like it did, it led on to another little story, and I thought I want to read both of these, only a couple of minutes each. But this one's incredible. It's a story about a guy called Harrison, and I'm going to say Oken because it's Okene. Oken. Now, if that's wrong, I'm sorry, but I've only found a couple of versions of this name and I've not found a YouTube video telling me how to pronounce it, so we're going to go with Oken.
All right, okay.
So it was May 26, 2013, and Harrison, who was a cook on the Jascon 4 tugboat off the coast of Nigeria, started his day like any other. While his crewmates were working around the boat, Harrison went to the toilet. As he was there, a freak wave suddenly slammed into the boat with terrifying force, flipping it over in an instant. Within seconds, the entire boat was capsized and plunging towards the seabed about 100 feet below. So he's sitting having a jobby, and next thing the boat's upside down.
Right.
The lights went out and Harrison was thrown violently into the darkness. Water began flooding every corner of the boat, and as it sank, he managed to claw his way out of the bathroom into a small space that held a pocket of air. So this is like sinking to the bottom of the sea. He was alone in near total darkness, trapped in a small cold room with only the sounds of the sinking vessel around him. His mind was racing, trying to comprehend the reality of being trapped so deep underwater with no escape. In the eerie silence, Harrison realized he wasn't completely alone. He could hear noises coming from nearby rooms, and then the horrible truth dawned on him. Those sounds were fish scavenging through the bodies of his dead crewmates. The thought was almost unbearable, knowing that while he was hanging on to his fragile air pocket, his friends' bodies were being picked apart by sea life just beyond the walls.
Wow.
Fish? Well, like big fish, sharks and stuff.
Oh, right, okay.
For nearly 3 days, Harrison clung to life in that air pocket at the bottom of the sea.
Yeah.
Right. It was only... I don't know if it actually says in this story because I looked into it. It was like, 100 feet, so 30 meters. So, the bottom of the sea, but it's not the Mariana Trench.
Yeah. I mean, it's pretty deep. You could do it in one swim.
Yeah. So the air was stale and his hope began to waver. He was on the edge of survival, knowing at any moment his air might run out. But on the third day, he heard something new, a faint tapping sound like metal on metal. He strained his ears, hardly daring to believe it was real. Unknown to him, a team of divers had been sent down to retrieve the bodies. Thinking no one could still be alive. With all the strength he had left, Harrison began pounding on the walls to make himself heard. When a diver finally saw him, he was so shocked he nearly panicked. Harrison reached out from the darkness, exhausted but still alive. The rescuers realised they had to be incredibly careful to bring him up safely due to the pressure, and after several hours they were finally able to bring Harrison up to the surface. For the first time in almost 3 days, he saw daylight.
3 days under sea. Oh, that's pretty impressive, isn't it?
So, yeah, that's it, really. I thought, wow, what an incredible...
Was it a black guy?
Yeah.
I think I've seen it.
It was a Nigerian crew.
Yeah, I've seen this.
I
remember this happening. What year was it?
2013.
I remember that, yeah. And he was just I remember, I've seen footage where he's just kind of in the corner of this kind of air pocket.
Mental, isn't it?
Yeah, imagine that.
3 days just treading water with your head in like an air pocket. It mustn't have been treading water because you die. You just run out of speed.
Yeah. It's probably on the stood up or something, yeah.
I've read more into
I'm sure
it. Skin was just peeling off because of just
nice.
being in the water so long.
Salt water as well.
Yeah. So there was that, and then that led on to this little story. In January 1972, Vesna was working as a flight attendant on Yugoslav airline flight from Stockholm to Belgrade. Mid-flight, at an altitude of 33,000 feet, a bomb exploded on board. The plane disintegrated instantly, sending all the passengers and crew plummeting towards the ground. Remarkably, Vesna, who was trapped in the tail section of the plane, hit the side of a snow-covered mountain, which helped cushion the impact. She was found alive but badly injured, with a fractured skull, broken legs, and several crushed vertebrae. Miraculously, she survived. Although she was in a coma for days and suffered temporary paralysis, doctors said that her survival was partly due to low blood pressure, which prevented her heart from bursting on impact. Against all odds, Vesna recovered, although she dealt with lifelong pain from her injuries.
Wow. Do you know, I thought you were going to say that they crashed into the Amazon and she was brought up by electric eels and became Blanca in Street Fighter 2.
Yes, yeah, that's very possible. Blanca, Blanca, wasn't it?
No, E Honda.
Oh,
That was
Honda
the big,
was the
like,
big Japanese guy, wasn't he?
that was the big sumo guy.
Blanca, yeah, he was just green.
Blanca was like the green. Yeah, and that was the backstory of Blanca.
Was it?
Air crash into the Amazon. When I think the kid was called like Jimmy. And then at the end of Street Fighter 2, like when you sort of get the story, like Jimmy's mum runs up and goes, "I can't believe it's you." Like, recognised him.
Mental. Well, again, that story then led on to another airline story about a plane that disintegrated and someone fell into the Amazon. But they survived.
Was it Blanca?
It was a girl. But she was like, the tree canopies like cushioned her fall. And she trekked for 10 days to get out of the Amazon.
I've heard about that one, actually. Yeah, I think like a mum, like she was flying with her mum, I think.
Was she?
And her mum died, and then like, or a dad, one or the other, and then the other parent was at home, sort of like, and lost all hope. And she managed to survive for like 10 days and get herself out of the jungle and lived like a long and prosperous life. Yeah,
mental. But no, I particularly liked the boat story, and then it led on to the other one. I thought I'll read that as well.
We'll throw them in. Why not?
Yeah,
a bit of content.
They're dangerous stories.
Yeah.
I've got one more thing tonight, and this, whether we leave this in the podcast or not, if you're not interested in anything political, skip the next 5 minutes. But
can I do that?
Yeah, you go and make a brew. Right, a couple of weeks ago, spent some time in a van with a man that his job was to sell doors to prisons. Did I tell you this?
No, I don't think so.
Right. His job, he works for a company that makes doors for prisons and mental hospitals. Very special doors. They've got to be smooth on one side so you can't hurt yourself, they can't break out, blah, blah, blah. Very serious doors, antibacterial.
Serious doors.
Yeah.
We're not messing about here.
No, this isn't a door for like an angry kid's bedroom. This is prison and hospitals. And interestingly, there's a mental hospital in Glasgow that needed 70 doors, and they had to buy 70 blue and 70 green in case the patient was a Rangers or Celtic fan. Yeah, really? Swap the door.
Fuck off. No, hang on a minute.
That's true.
Why not just get like yellow
black
doors?
Or something? Yeah,
black, or why is it have to be like?
He told me that, God's honest truth. He said the doors, if it's a Rangers fan, they put a blue door on. And I said, why didn't they just have 35 blue and 35 green? He said, well, what if they're 60 mental Celtic fans in? They run out of. Have to put them in a blue door.
Or just black door, like you say, black doors, red doors.
Stupid. He told me that in good faith. I can't tell you if it's the truth, but I can't work out why he would lie about it.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah. So he was telling me that they sell these doors to the government, to the prisons and hospitals for 10 grand a piece, and his company makes them for £1,800. So £8,200 profit.
Wow. Right. I think I'm in the wrong business.
So I know someone that also works in street lighting, and he told me that the government pay a private company to maintain streetlights. That private company then pay a contractor to do the work, and that contractor pays someone, one of their employees, to do the work. So an employee fixing a streetlight for £12 an hour, right, is getting billed by the contractor at £30 an hour to the private company who's billing it to the government at £75 an hour. Right? And I started thinking about this, and I thought, why doesn't the government open a factory making doors for prisons and hospitals? Why doesn't the government employ people to fix streetlights? Why are there all these middlemen? Why doesn't the government say, we pay private companies to make trains in Germany, why don't we just build a factory and make trains?
Because essentially what you're talking about is communism, though. I mean, like, because it's all about we live in a capitalist society, right? Yeah. And the idea is that there's that company that makes that door for that prison or whatever is the best option, because there's other companies out there that make those doors and the government has to make a decision about, which company they choose.
Mm-hmm.
If the government have ultimate control over every single thing that's developed and produced and supplied, then there's no the competitive nature is completely removed out of society, and ultimately you've got communism, which leads to corruption, because they could say they could have a company. So I could be prime minister, for example, and I could say to my mate or my sister, why don't you open a company that produces doors for prisons? And even though they cost £1,000 to make, because you're the only company making that product, I will give you £1 million a year. You see, so that's why.
Yeah, but I see what you're saying, but I'm only talking about stuff that's directly used by the government. So prison doors are used by the government. Doors for people's houses, yeah, let anyone that wants to make them. But save money. But you're saying, again, so you've privatised it. So the government then gets his daughter to run the company making the doors and pays her. No, the government just makes them and pays employees to do the labour.
But you still have to pay someone to do it, though, don't you? Or it's very complicated. You're talking about political ideology. I understand what you're saying.
Just pissed
me off. Yeah, no, I get it. And it does make sense, but essentially what you're arguing for then, even though you're a bad Tory boy, is basically like communism, because you're saying, well, the government should control all right, maybe not all produce, but essentially particular types of products. And by doing that, you open yourself up to corruption and reduce competitiveness and innovation, I suppose. Because so you're a government, you go, right, okay, well, you produce these doors and they're always going to be the same because this is the way that we deal with them. But there might be a company over there going, do you know what, we can produce these cheaper with better materials that we've developed, but we're not going to bother because the government will always use that company.
Yeah, but the government are going to use the company that the politicians have got the most shares in, really, aren't they? That's the way it works.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot wrong. There is a lot wrong with capitalism, of course. Yeah, but I'm not saying which one works better than the other. I mean, I've spoken to you about my political stance before, but I just think it doesn't work like that. I just don't think that you could. I know that the government wastes so much money, and our money. It is our money as well. You get thrown sort of left, right, and centre, but I just don't think it really works in the way that you think that.
It's basically neither of them work.
Exactly. Yeah, we need a new system. We need someone really clever who listens to this podcast to come up with a different political ideology
that's work. It. Email us.
Email us with your manifesto, and we'll assess this. We'll start a second podcast where we judge manifestos.
Yeah, we'll do a Patreon. Everyone's doing a Patreon now.
That's right.
Yeah, imagine if everyone that follows this podcast subscribed to our Patreon. We'd be able to buy a couple of beers every week.
Not even a coffee, mate. Let's not big it up. We can't even afford a coffee after this yet.
So, anyway, that's it. Right, back to dangerous stuff. Me thinking about politics, that's probably dangerous.
That's the most dangerous thing I've heard since we've been doing it.
Yeah, so I'll get in charge of the country and we'll be like North Korea.
So you want to be a dictator? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, this is the fucking way.
Okay. Do I live or do I die?
I don't want the hassle. I don't want the hassle of getting involved in politics, to be honest.
That's it. It's like, is it Billy Collins? We've spoken about this before. Anyone who wants to be a politician should be immediately barred from being a politician.
What do you say? Don't vote. You'll only encourage them.
Yeah.
Let's do the
thing that I don't get. We'll do the draw. Just give me just 2 minutes on this.
Right. Okay. Go on.
The one thing that I don't get about politics is that you don't have to have any qualifications to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You don't have to be. You don't even have to go to uni. Really, I mean, most of them do. And most of it's particularly on the right side of things. They go to these sort of red brick unis and things like that. Now, what I don't get is for the NHS, for example, why isn't a doctor the MP for, or what they call the NHS guy. Why isn't like somebody who's worked in like the bank, the exchequer, and like things like that? Why is it just random people? And that's why it doesn't work. The reason it's random people is because the guy at the top at the moment, Keir Starmer, is that he has to get people, allies basically, around him to make sure he keeps his job. Now, if you could eradicate that and just say, right, okay, you're dead good at science, so you can be like science secretary. You're dead good at health, so you've been a doctor, you've seen it on the front line, so you can be like health secretary. Things like that. So surely there should be more qualified people for the role. I think that's where I stand.
So the country runs on back scratching and arse licking, really.
Exactly. Anyway, that was like a 10-minute rant on stuff that people don't want to hear about. All right, let's just get this draw done so I can drink more whiskey.
Right, I've got them in the pot. We need to read the names again, don't we?
Yeah, I can't remember what they are now.
Right, well, you need to bear with me because
we've got new ones, haven't we?
We've got a new one, yeah. Which
what was it? Cryptids.
Cryptids, yeah. Right, here's the list. Are you ready, James?
Okay.
In no particular order: London,
American
highways, sins. I thought I said fights, flights, natural disasters, scientific discoveries, trends, hobbies, and cryptids. I was thinking about them, and I hated flights. I kept hoping that didn't come out, and then I've had a few good ideas for flights.
Yeah, there's loads of them.
I shouldn't say this because a flight comes out now, it just looks dead. But
flight, yeah, like 9/11. That's the biggie, isn't it? You could do like 4 episodes on that.
Well, I thought flights Hindenburg. That was a flight, wasn't it?
And yeah, Lockerbie.
Yeah. So.
There's loads on flights. Flights is a good one.
London, I think, is quite cool. I'd like London. Cryptids, you can do loads with that. It's good. So we'll see. Oh, that'll take some editing. Right. You ready?
Yeah, go for it. So this is it. Drum roll.
We have got
Sins. We were looking forward to that one.
Yeah, looks a bit like anus backwards.
So that's 7 episodes, though. What we were discussing before just completely goes out the window.
No, we'll just pick 4. Pick 4. We'd have to do it.
You can't do 4. You got to do 7.
Why do we have to do 7?
Because there's 7 deadly sins.
Right. Sin sounds like a good one to do after Christmas in January.
Oh, we'll just do it.
Yeah,
we can always have a break, can't we?
Yeah, because we were just discussing earlier, listeners. We probably will have a 2-week break over Christmas because we don't want life get in the way and promise one and then we can't do one. So yeah, we'll have a couple of weeks off. But so sins. Fine. So we'll do 4 before Christmas and 3 afterwards. Then
7. Who gets the extra one? Definitely you, I think.
Oh, right. I think we should do one together.
Oh, that's a good idea. Yeah. Okay.
So, all right, we'll discuss that.
So it's a bumper series.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So we've got. Fuck it. Why did we put sins in there?
That was you. You put sins in.
So it's 7 episodes. It's a 7-episode part season. Even what I'm talking about. And we're going to cover the 7 deadly sins.
Right, okay.
Like the movie. So, go and watch the movie.
What I've decided, right, this is how we'll work it.
You've decided. Yeah, go on then.
I think
we should discuss this off air. I think.
So you pick
before
one.
You decide anything.
You pick one and you WhatsApp it to me. And then I get second pick and WhatsApp it to you.
Okay.
And then you get third pick. That's the fairest way to do it, isn't it?
Yeah, or we could just talk about it.
We could talk about it, yeah.
Let's just do it that way. Just go, do you want that? Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd need to think about it. We'll discuss it next couple of days.
All right. Okay, well, I don't have anything else to say, I don't think.
No, I just, I wanted to get those couple little stories in. Thought they were fun. And the politics bit, I'm really sorry, everyone.
The Tory boys turned into a commie.
Do you know, I've never voted Tory in my life.
Lies.
That is the truth.
Yeah, he's more of a reform.
Yeah, never voted them in my life. I've barely voted in my life, to be fair, but never voted.
And then he's got the audacity to come on here and rant about politics.
Yeah. Right, I'm going.
Right.
Lovely listeners, like, subscribe, share, do what you can. Try and help us grow our podcast.
Don't think we'll get many after this.
No,
But anyway.
No. Anyway, right, I'll speak soon, James.
Bye.
See you. Take care. Bye bye. Forgot about that. Sorry, guys. We're big fans of the show.